I'm sick of the roto, sick of the roto, sick of the roto. Can't you give me it all? I'm sick of the roto, sick of the roto, sick of the roto. Can't you give me it all? And it's early on a Monday. Are you lying or telling the truth and the suffering of the lowers? Whoa, he's the man for you. Rise me up on something new, shooting me down. Rise me up on something new, shooting me down. You. Welcome to Golf in the Cosmos, where physics meets the fairway and the universe takes a swing at your mind. Christmas Eve special here. We have a special guest, the mysterious, the infamous Tony Kransinski, otherwise known as at Wet Beefs on X. How you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm doing good. It's Christmas Eve. We've got the Cal Bowl game later. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl against Hawaii. I'm super excited for it. We have a fun drinking game going on. So yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped to be here. Thanks for having me on the pod.
Hey man, thanks for joining. You know, I know we go way back. But honestly, what you've done on X has really inspired us to start our pod. I mean, you go live on was it Spaces? Mm-hmm. And you get thousands of viewers, and you guys get real into the Cal football kind of preview. It's really been fun to watch, man. So thank you for the inspiration.
Hell yeah. No, it's fun. I think we're creative people, and we have our passions, and we just want to talk about them and figure out a way to potentially get people to listen to it and have fun doing it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it's all about. We were able to play golf with Tony yesterday, and it was I know you live in New York City, right? So yep. It's not like you're getting that much golf in right now. But I was impressed with some of the work on the sim you've been doing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about the sim, what that looks like, the logistics around the sim, and how that translated for you yesterday?
Yeah, I feel like the sim is really good to help your swing. It's terrible to help your game. Like, you don't ever have a bad lie on a sim. Even when you're like in the woods or something, you have a good lie and you could hit it out. It's easy.
Right.
All the shots, like, you never have an even lie unless you're off the tee box, and that's where it's like, I played well there. Once we get out into the fairway or in the rough,
ball slightly above your feet, something different, you're getting a little screwed out there.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember what's going to happen when the ball's above your feet, below your feet. You're not practicing that, so it's not like you're changing your setup. So yeah, that's where I struggled yesterday. Shot at 103. Proud of it.
Yeah. No, I think I shot at 89, and then Andrew had just a killer round.
Yeah, I shot 71, beat Tony by 32 strokes, and ended up doing great, but lost to the fourth member of our group in the net game.
Yeah, that was a barn burner, down to the last putt for the net game.
Yeah, he had to make that last putt for the win, and he made it.
Yeah, for birdie too on a par 5. So yeah, that was a good one under though, Andrew. Well done.
Thank you. I think my strategy has been working, where I'm trying to maintain focus on the beginning of the back nine. It's starting to work, and then whenever I pull out driver, starting to really just know that it's the longest club, trying to hit it as hard as I can rather than trying to be careful with it.
I like that. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's something we've explored throughout this podcast, is kind of like what strategies are working, which aren't. So it's nice to know that, you're finding some strategies that are working.
Yep.
Because I think, my handicap's pretty much gone up since starting the pod. So it's been an experiment, but, it's been fun, but I'm still trying to kind of find that magic.
Yeah, the putting for you, I think you had 37 putts yesterday. Those greens were tough at San Joaquin, but, I still saw you trying to make these longer putts that really should have just done that lag putt.
Right. I know. I was almost forgetting about, what we've talked about a little bit. So it's so hard though, when you're in the moment, you're in the zone, the heat's on, there's bets going on. Those throw me off, especially when there's money on the line.
What does maintaining focus actually mean though?
It basically, to me, it's that as you get through the round, you start to develop confidence or lack of confidence. And so what that confidence can do is cloud your judgment. And so if you're making decisions based on, I've been hitting this club really well, or I'm hitting this club poorly, you start to make decisions that end up putting yourself in tougher spots. So it's like I could have taken driver on hole 11 yesterday, but I decided to take 3-wood because I knew I needed to just have anything inside 150. So making that decision to like step back is something that's hard to do in the middle of a round. So like that maintaining focus is allowing yourself to say, I'm going to take a step back here, not pull out driver, and then end up making par on the hole rather than bringing bogey into play.
So you're basically saying, I'm looking at the bigger data that I have, not just the immediate last 9 holes that I've been playing.
Exactly, yeah. Because the handicap is built on the last 20 rounds or whatever. So if you're trying to make a decision on what's happening today in general, you're going to kind of miss your handicap and you're going to end up shooting over it most of the time.
Interesting. I do the exact opposite. I show up and say, my golf swing is happening this way today, so I'm only going to play that. Like yesterday, driver wasn't there.
Right.
I was only playing the 4-iron off the tee. It helped me, but obviously when you're much better, it's a different ball game.
Yeah, what we're finding is that like there's some middle point where you kind of have to flip your strategy, where you're a 5+ or maybe 6, 7+ higher handicap, and you have to have a certain strategy. But then once you get below that middle line, you kind of have to flip your mindset in a lot of ways.
See, like he can trust his game or his swing. We can't, you know. So we have to almost take a different approach at these higher handicaps, where he needs to push at the right times, put on the gas at the right times. Otherwise, he's just going to get a mediocre, 5 over, and it's like, well, I left something out on the table. He doesn't want to leave, right? You don't want to leave something on the table.
Right, and there are times where I have to say, gosh, I want to go for this, but I need to be conservative here and take 3-wood off the tee or 4-iron off the tee, instead of being like, I can drive every single green. Like, it just doesn't work over 4 hours.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's what's funny. A lot of the commenters are just like, I go the longest club every time. Closer to the hole, he always equals better score. It's like, that's just not, patently true.
Not at all. Because you're bringing, this common idea where the longer you're hitting the ball, the more 1 degree off is into the shit. So like you're hitting your driver and 1 degree off with the driver goes, let's call it 20 yards left. But 1 degree off with 5-iron,
which is what Tony was hitting off the tee, right?
Yeah, like that. You're taking less clubs, so the variance is smaller. So now you're, instead of in the trees, you're just in the rough on a mishit. And you can make a shot to the green from the rough, but not from the trees.
Yeah.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. To answer your question though about the focus, for me, it's zooming out and going, the cosmos is much bigger than me. It's much bigger than this golf game. And trying to kind of, for me, it's blaming when something bad happens, to go, a rock moved on Mars. That's not my fault. Because it's so often, and I even get pissed off out there, but it's like people get so pissed on the golf course when something doesn't go their way. And it's like, hey man, was that your fault? Like, was it really, like take a real step back, really zoom out, So that the focus idea, it's also, did you eat? There's like a lot of factors that we've been exploring.
Yeah, we ate half a burrito after 9, and I think that was essential for me. If I didn't eat that,
me too.
Back 9 would have just been awful.
Right. I know. No, that was really good, and that last post picked up a lot of comments and stuff about, people noticing that, like, yeah, if you're not, one person commented, Tiger said, just be like eating the whole time. That he once said that in the past. Yeah. So that's definitely important stuff. So
what about, how does drinking fall into that? Does that count?
Well,
there's calories in beer.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get something from it. It's funny, the Grint, when they did an update like 3-4 years ago, maybe it was longer ago, they added a bbutton for like if you cracked a beer on that hole, like, so they
start tracking that
they're
stat.
tracking that stat. Like, did it help or hurt? So other people are thinking this, as well.
It's my most used button on the Grint.
Yeah.
That and putts.
Yeah.
So no, and if you check out our latest YouTube video, we experimented with microdosing, some other things too. We had Siggy on the YouTube channel, and he played 6 times better. We did 5 holes versus 5 holes. So it's pretty interesting. So I think that video is gonna pick up some steam. I mean, it's some, you call it cutting edge stuff there, but I mean,
real life testing for microdosing on the golf course.
Yeah, right.
It's incredible.
It was really, I felt like Stanford or Harvard should be hitting us up, to get the data, to get that data set, for future studies, So, but that was a great round. But I want to get a little more into the sim life, because it's something that me and Andrew just we don't need to do that because the weather's pretty good here in Southern California. But in New York City, what does that look like on a week for you? Like, how often are you hitting the sim? How much does it cost? What is that? What's that life like, the sim life?
Yeah, there was, by my old apartment, there was a sim that was $20 a month. And then every time you go, it's essentially $20 an hour from there. So I would try to do it Monday mornings. I would go once Monday mornings, and then sometimes Friday mornings as well. It's just like a good switch up between working out in the morning. But it was interesting. It's like you pick the club you want to work. You only bring that club. And I felt like my iron game has taken so many steps forward. But then, like, if you try to, like, convince yourself that you can play with wedges there, one of the downfalls is every time you start playing a course, you're like, damn, I'm pretty good at golf.
Yes, the expectations get really high.
Yeah.
Because there's no consequences.
Yeah, the sim is much different than real golf. And, but yeah, like, you can fix your swing. You can figure out, like, I gained some distance. I was able to get better at compressing the ball. And everything like 7, 8 and above, or I would say like 9 iron and above is now money. But and then the problem is I'm not practicing wedges at all. So anytime I actually get out onto a course, that's where I struggle. But then, I don't know, it's like wedges, you just practice a little and you're fine. And short game is like, it's all habit. And if you've had it in the past, you can find it again.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. It's like the sim is a way to just dial in the middle of your bag. Because even driver you can do, but it's not like you're getting the consequence of missing a fairway. So like you're still swinging probably too hard or doing something funky there, but you really get that middle of the bag in tune, so that at least when you go in the winter in New York, you go from that to here and you could actually hit the ball.
Yeah, like I felt good off the tees and in the fairways yesterday, but once you're close, you get smoked.
Yeah, the sensitivity is really hard to develop without actually golfing.
Right. I noticed it on your putting. It's just like the sims you're using doesn't have putting. And so there's just no way to practice that in the winter, you know?
I've thought about either getting some of the putting things or literally like I have hardwood and a rug, just like might be actually really good putting. It's probably the fastest green I'll ever play is hardwood.
Right. At least for just pure aiming. But then you realize that no house is built level.
Yeah.
So,
undulations.
So there's a break to it, actually.
Yeah.
But once you figure out that break, then you could just play it. But
yeah. But I think it would be good for speed and like being able to control the ball from like just getting the reps, I think is more important than.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah, your putter is pretty goofy. It looks like a wedge.
It's a 3-iron.
No.
It's not a 3-iron.
How lofted is that little putter you have? I mean,
it's a flat face.
Okay.
But it's essentially the old Phil Mickelson putter.
Right.
That he called the Tiger Slayer, I believe. So I play that. Oftentimes I will be looking in my bag for my putter. And I'm like, did I leave it on the last hole? Because it looks like an iron. It
looks like a freaking iron.
Yeah. So it's really hard to find in the bag. And I at least have like 2 to 3 panic attacks every time I play golf because I'm like, fuck, I left my putter.
I love it. So Tony, I mean, again, you are at Wet Beefs on X, and I love, you hide your identity on purpose. And I think that gives you a lot of creative freedom to kind of say whatever you want, say maybe what's true and other people won't say, specifically around Cal football. Again, tonight is the big Cal versus Hawaii bowl game. Maybe you're listening to this after the game, so you'll know the result, but we're really looking forward to that game tonight. If you want to give us just like a little preview of the game, I know this is your specialty, so we'd like to get into a little more of college football talk.
Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm taking the over. I got it at 54.5. I don't know what it's at right now. Apparently there's inclement weather, but I don't ever check the weather before I make bets.
In Hawaii?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think there's going to be some rain. There might be a storm there. But yeah, I'm expecting a lot of points. I think right now Cal is at a turning point where it's like we need to become a national brand. So right now what's happening in college football is 2030 is the next TV deal going across all of college sports. So basically what happens there from the last time around when these TV deals happened, that's what killed the Pac-12. Is we were trying to get a new TV deal. We had a very good deal with Apple, but the commissioner, who I believe was Larry Scott at the time, didn't want to go to streaming. He felt that was like not the way to go. He wanted to be on traditional TV, and that's where everything was housed. It actually was the dumbest decision ever. He goes to a marketing professor at Utah, says, you guys are worth $50 million per school. I believe the offer was like $32 million per school, which is pretty good. And so Larry Scott turns it down. What ends up happening is the first schools to leave were USC and UCLA. They decide to go to the Big Ten.
So that's what started the domino effect of the Pac-12. And I'm a Cal alumni, so that's why I kind of care about this stuff. And then we go way back due to that.
Yeah.
But so USC, UCLA started the breakup of the Pac-12.
Yeah, because they were concerned about this deal never getting done. And then ultimately what happens is they lose money, and then you lose relevance. And that's the last thing you ever want, because you want to be relevant for recruiting. Recruiting is basically like the foundation of every program. You need to have a strong recruiting foundation. And that was the issue of like everyone was worried about this deal killing the Pac-12, and it ultimately did because there was no deal that happened. So USC, UCLA left to the Big Ten. Oregon and Washington shortly left thereafter. And then everyone had to scramble and figure out things there. So that's how Cal and Stanford ended up in the ACC. Which is funny now. There's a lot of ACC football games played a few miles away from the Pacific Ocean, so it doesn't really make sense.
The Atlantic Conference, right?
Yeah, brought to you by the Pacific Ocean.
Right. No, that is interesting. And then what blows my mind too, I mean, so Cal's team this year, we have this quarterback, JKS. He's from Hawaii. That's what makes this game a little special tonight, is that he's playing near his hometown for kind of like, his home fans essentially. But I was all in on them. They won their first 3 or 4 games, and I put bets down on Cal winning the ACC, Cal winning the national championship, Cal making it to the college football playoff. And he was a freshman, so it ended up playing out. And then I went to the SDSU game, and we got skunked like 30-0.
Yeah.
And that was rough. It was rough for me, but what are you gonna do? But then I see Duke wins the ACC football championship. I'm like, doesn't Duke play basketball? Like, what's going on? Like, what happened there? Like, was that a scheduling thing? Like, why they didn't play hard enough teams?
It was really weird. So the ACC has a really weird tiebreaker that they're actually working on changing for next season. But ultimately what happened is all these conferences' rules are built around everyone playing each other.
Right.
And when you expanded, and now I think there's 17 teams in the ACC, not everyone plays the same teams. And so there's a weird tiebreaker of Duke being able to get in. There's like 6 teams that were 6-2 in the conference, and they had the tiebreaker win. So that's how they got into the ACC championship and then won. The team we sent to the college football playoff was Miami. So a team who didn't even play in the conference championship.
That's what makes no sense to me.
It's so stupid. The highest ranked team, what it should be is the highest ranked team is the tiebreaker. And Miami, I do think, is a very good football team. They have a really good defensive and offensive line, which I think is the most important thing in football. And then they just beat Texas A&M, who is a very good SEC team, but they only played the bottom half of the SEC throughout their season. So there's like questions about that
that
as
they
well.
made the playoff that way, yeah.
Yeah, and then the playoff is weird too, because when you're talking about Miami and A&M's not involved in that, but Miami and A&M beat Notre Dame, and Notre Dame went on this huge press tour after it was announced they weren't in the playoff. They got slighted. And basically,
which team did that?
Notre Dame.
Oh, yes.
Their AD was talking so much smack.
And they said, we're not going to play a bowl game, right?
Yep, they backed out of the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know if, Andrew, if we can show the shared album, but I have if we could show that, I have the bracket up there. Like if you want to jump up there and
Yeah, sure.
might as well, man. I mean, because it's some good stuff to look at.
Did I ever tell you?
There's a picture of the college football playoff bracket.
So you had me place the bets for all the national championship and ACC conference.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that the moment I placed the national championship bet and screenshotted it to you, I cashed it out for you?
Well, that's money for you, Tony.
No, I sent it back on Apple Pay.
No, but I thought you said it still was letting us after the SDSU. There was a different one.
There's the cash out, I think, because we kept the Heisman one because I thought that would have been a really fun one to keep.
Right.
And then I also kept the ACC one because
you're saying the national championship one. You basically never placed it. So this is the playoff bracket, Tony. I want to get your thoughts on. I mean, obviously we know Oregon advanced, right? JMU was kind of a shit team. What about the other games? Tulane obviously lost, right? So Ole Miss advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama won. Is that?
No, Oklahoma did.
Oklahoma won.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Alabama's out.
You might want to Google that. I'm not 100% certain.
Okay, yeah.
I can look it up real quick. That was a good game, though. I'm fairly certain Oklahoma won.
Here, we can just restart because I'd rather have you know that.
Yeah. No, Bama won. Yeah.
That's
Bama
what I
won.
thought.
Yeah, I bet on Oklahoma. That's why.
Okay. All right. So we'll start over. And we're back. So this is the college football playoff bracket. Obviously there's been some updates. Obviously we know that JMU lost. James Madison. Not even sure why they made it. I guess they had a good season, but did they play hard teams? And then Tulane was the other one. Now the argument is stronger that Notre Dame should have been in. Ole Miss advanced, and then did Alabama win?
Yeah, Bama won.
Okay.
And then Miami won as well. But this is where I kind of, how do you get a team like JMU to ever field a decent football program if there's no chance when they have a really good season to not get into the playoff? That's where I think it's like, there is an argument there of if you perform well against who you play against, you should be in no matter what. Like they were 11-1 in their season, and then they won their conference championship, so they were 12-1 going into that game.
Yeah, we can stop sharing it too because I know the mic's doubling when we share.
I fixed that.
And then
it is. Oh, good.
That's where I think like I'm a big fan of getting these teams in there. They never perform well, but it's like on the off chance that they do win.
But what else can those teams do to get in? They did everything they could. They played their best season ever. They're stoked. You almost have to give them. And now that it's 12 teams, what was the 12 teams for? It was to not screw those teams over.
Exactly. And like no matter what, if you go to a 16-team playoff, the teams at 17, 18, and 19 are going to be making the same argument that 13, 14, 15 are making right now. Like,
yeah,
if you have a finite number of people getting in, there's always people on the outside. But that's the point of a playoff. Like,
right.
You have to be able to, I guess it's subjective and it's not really an objective way of getting people in, but it's also, you have to reward those types of schools or else their football programs will be gone in 10 years if you just can't give them any type of reward for playing the season that they had.
Yeah. No, I personally love seeing the 12 team because it gives, my school, Cal, it gives them maybe a chance in hell of making it one year. So
we would, and the team that we want to look at in the future is Indiana. So Indiana is the losingest school in NCAA history. 2 years ago, they brought in Signetti, actually from JMU. And now they're the number one ranked team. They just had the Heisman winner who went to Cal last year.
That's what blows my mind is we used to be cheering for that guy.
Yeah.
And then he left and we were like, F you, man, Mendoza. And then he wins the Heisman.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, it's a gray area for Cal fans of, there's a lot of people who still are fans of him. There's a lot of people who aren't. There's some rumors about what happened when he was leaving of, one, he made a phone call to JKS and said, don't come to Cal, like you're not going to be developed here. And that's what people think made JKS flip to Oregon originally.
Oh, wow.
And then he made some demands, and we met those demands within 24 hours, and he still left.
Wow.
Those are rumors. Allegedly, that's what happened, but on pretty good grounds, I've been told that that's the truth.
Wow. Okay, we can stop sharing that the bracket. I mean, you heard it here first from Tony. That's the scoop on what happened with Mendoza potentially. But the good news is JKS is here to stay, supposedly, is what he said.
Yep.
He's in Hawaii tonight. I can't wait for that game, man. I'm excited.
It's so sick. Watching him throw football in person is like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like magic. Like, it's a bullet. You went to the SDSU game. I was at BC. Like, he's a huge person. He's 6'4", 225 as a freshman in college. And then whenever he throws the ball, it just leaves his hand in such like a delicate but aggressive way. It is so sick.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We have some press conference of him. We can show a little slice of that. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. They're in this press conference. They're in Hawaii. Behind them is the is the ocean. I think it's the other one. That's the coach's one. There should be two. Yeah, try that one. Let's see. I think it's the first one, the one to the left.
Campbell is pretty well represented here at the Hawaii Bowl. What does this kind of mean for you guys' community and for like the next generation of, I guess, Campbell Sabres and especially?
I mean, I just think it means the world. I mean, just allowing, First Peter, he's been putting on for a while now and just representing everyone from Ewa Beach and just representing, that they can't make it to the next level and they're able to do it and play at a high level. And, it just means the world that, a lot of guys are starting to get some recognition now. And, I think they deserve it and just always representing where it come from for sure.
Just to piggyback off of that.
Yeah, that's our boy right there, man. Yeah. He's in his hometown, and they're saying how good this is for his community and everything. Being able to play in front of the home fans and stuff. So
you couldn't script it better,
right?
About like a freshman phenom. What game was it? Minnesota. He played really well, which was our third game of the year, and from there, like against Oregon State, our first game of the year, he had a huge game passing, like. It's a sick season for him to have had. There's adversity with his head coach that he committed to, got fired, and now he's still just all about Cal. Like, it's super impressive. Like, he has his head on straight. His family's very awesome. Like, they love Cal. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for the future with him. I think he'll be around until he goes to the NFL unless...
That's the best news, that I could ask for, because I thought for sure when he started, when people realized he was really good, I'm like, well, we're going to have another Mendoza. He's gone. I kind of was like just sad he's going to leave. That's just what happens to Cal football. But then after we lost to Stanford, they fired Justin Wilcox, and I feel like that changed everything.
Yeah, it all of a sudden opened Pandora's box of like, what could possibly happen. The good thing is we knew who we wanted, who's the DC of Oregon, Tosh Lapoy. He played at Cal. He's coached at Cal. That's super important when you're coming into this role. And I think that was a huge get. It's who everyone wanted. It's who we all knew would be able to lead the program. He's a great recruiter. The first thing he did, which I think is in today's modern world of college football, you have to be able to recruit your own guys. You have to make sure that people come back to you and they're staying for the next season. The first thing he did, so he was at Cal for his introductory press conference. Immediately after, he jumps on a plane and goes and visits JKS in Hawaii.
Wow.
And gets him to commit for next year. So super impressed by Tosh already.
Right.
And then just like being able to build that connection with JKS is important, and keeping him around is huge.
Oh, 100%. Talk to me a little bit about Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
And what he has to do with Cal, right? This is the coach of the Redskins, now the Commanders. Right?
Yeah, he was longtime coach of the Panthers. So he coached in Super Bowls. He won the 85 Super Bowl with the Bears. He was a linebacker for them.
Wow.
He played at Cal. Cal guy through and through. His wife also played softball at Cal. So like they're Cal family through and through. He is now the GM, which is a really interesting role in college football. We actually saw GMs come around in like 2007. I think Bama had someone in player personnel.
So historically, GM was not a position in college?
No, it's been in the professional, it's been in the NFL for a very long time now. But yeah, essentially it's you maintain the roster focus. So like college football, what the challenge was when Wilcox was at the helm, before we had Ron Rivera, he was managing everything with the admin. So like Wilcox had to go and fight to get us 3 meals a day. That type of job now is strictly on Ron Rivera and the GM type of role of like pulling in money from a lot of the donors, being able to handle all those relationships.
Right.
So he's kind of like the COO of like making sure all the operations are smooth and handling a lot of the things off the field.
So Tony, I mean, I know you used to play at Cal. It wasn't like that before.
No,
you're saying.
it was all the head coach who had to manage that, and that's what Wilcox did. He broke down a lot of barriers. Cal historically has had very tough time with the administration because not many of them love football. So it's always like, we need X, Y, and Z to be able to compete with programs like USC, Washington, Oregon. For the past 10 years have been incredible programs in the Pac-12 North, and that's our competition. We're not even getting fed 3 times a day when I showed up at Cal.
Right.
And that's just like something that is a fundamental aspect of college football. And Wilcox had to go and fight like for that. And so like those are the things you face at Cal that are interesting, that head coaches used to either have to deal with and try to fight it, or a lot of the head coaches would just be like, I don't care enough. I'm going to go get a different job once I have one good season here.
Right. Talk to me a little bit about money and specifically, I guess I want to start with NIL, but then also about what maybe has changed because of NIL with Cal football and the money.
Yeah, I mean, it's made like, it's mercenaries. Like all these guys, they don't commit to a school, they commit to money. And NIL basically just gives you the opportunity to make millions of dollars as a 18-year-old kid.
So they actually are paying the 19-year-old kids
straight up,
like an above board paycheck that goes to their bank account. They pay taxes on it.
Yep.
And where's that money coming from?
Donors. So there's something called the collective, which is a part of, like, they're connected to the school, but it's a third-party collection of. Ours is called Cal Legends. There's a bunch of different names for, like, everyone has a different collective name. And those are essentially the fundraisers who manage all the money. They're the ones who send it to the kids. They're the ones who raise it. And so that's essentially like how you're paying these kids now. And then also there's ways to be able to get like money from marketing. So let's say like a restaurant wants to sponsor a kid. They do a few ads for them and they get paid that way as well.
Okay. So there's, and the NIL is the precedent that was set that allows all of this now.
Yeah, so NIL is name, image, and likeness, and that is when I played, we didn't have essentially our own IP. So I could not go and sell t-shirts that said Wet Beefs.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't allowed to profit from being a college football player. That changed in 2021, and that's when this influx of money has been sent. So like Texas Tech, a team that we saw on the bracket, they are spending boatloads of money, and
really?
It paid off. Yeah, like they have some studs that they're just paying through the roof right now.
Wow.
Technically, there's a $20.5 million cap that you can spend on a roster per year, but then there's a lot of backdoor money that you can do. So like teams are spending close to like $40 million a year on their rosters, which is insane.
Wow. Okay, I want to show a few more videos if we can here. The Cal band was on the beach, and this is just getting people stoked on the game. That's gonna be the bottom left there. I just love this. Surfing USA.
That is so sick.
Look at all the people watching. So just a little fanfare. See, it kind of sets the vibe of what everyone's up to. But now we can show the coaches. I have a clip of like the coaches in the press conference as well. And I think they bring up some good points as well. I think it's like the final one. Yeah. Yep. There you go.
Are forged forever, so those are special times, but also I think the bigger part is the fans, and then the culture and the players that come from Hawaii. As you can see, there's Hawaii boys all over the country playing elite football in the NFL and in college, and so this is a talent-rich state of athletes, and so if Hawaii always can keep these guys home, it also builds. It has a chance to have a strong team mixed with a lot of the mainland boys that get to come here and grow, and like Rolla said, immerse themselves in the culture. And so it has that ingredient that if you can capture it, and again, Hawaii is there is no professional team, so this team takes the place of that, and having that understanding of that you're playing for something a little bit different. You're playing for all 8 islands, and so special place. It's a very special place.
I love that clip because it reminds us all that Hawaii does not have an NFL team.
Yeah.
So University of Hawaii is they're representing all 8 islands. That is the football team.
Yeah.
And I think those two coaches have played together or something.
Yeah. So the interim head coach of Cal right now is Nick Rolovich. He was the starting quarterback when Timmy Chang, who's the head coach of Hawaii, was his backup. So they have history there. It's really interesting. I'm sure we're going to hear it all over the broadcast tonight, and we're going to have to be drinking a lot based on the drinking game that we made for it. But yeah, like it's. I think what's cool is when people played at Hawaii, it's like super prideful, and that's like kind of similar to Cal. Of like we are never like no one goes to Cal if you're like a 5-star, right? So it's like. You're always that type of person who takes like pride in being the underdog of every single game that you're going into, essentially. And that's where I think, like Hawaii's like that, Cal's like that. There's a lot of programs, but it's like, it's cool hearing that from the head coach of like,
for sure.
It's super meaningful to people on the islands, and it's cool.
Oh yeah. I feel like it's a bigger deal than just a regular bowl game.
Yeah.
If we can, let's show the screenshot of, the drinking game. Wet Beefs had it went viral, I would say. Right?
Yeah. So the Max Brown is calling the game.
So why don't you go through these point by point? I'm curious on why you thought of these.
Yeah, this is kind of just off the cuff, but when you watch a lot of football like me, you can kind of predict what a lot of the talking points are going to be. So yeah, as we're going through this, I try to be lenient with what is taking a sip, so that can be a very small sip if it gets late into the game and all of us are hammered. But so Tosh is our new head coach. Ron Rivera is our GM. We talked about him. Take a sip anytime they're mentioned. JKS obviously grew up in Hawaii, so anytime they mention his high school, you've got to take a drink. The run and shoot offense is a super sick offense that Hawaii runs, and historically it's always been like the offenses that we see like Colt Brennan ran way back in the day. So that's Hawaii's offense. Anytime they mention that term, you've got to take a sip.
What is run and shoot though? I don't.
It's very fast-paced, up-tempo offense. So
they're not huddling and stuff. Or?
Yeah, they don't huddle that often. They're going to be anytime they have basically 3 or 4 more yards gained. They're going to get back on the ball and try to go fast.
That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be high scoring. Let's see what happens with the weather. Redacted is a good joke for Mendoza. It's something in the Calgorithm that we talk about a lot. We call him Redacted. We don't call him by his actual name. Calgorithm is the Cal online community on Twitter. So anytime a meme is shown, Kaloha has become a new term in the Cal world because of JKS. And then Game Day was a big event for the Cal
That's
online community.
That's ESPN Game Day.
Yeah, we got it
in Berkeley, right?
Yeah, for us in Miami, which was super cool. I thought... I think Reese Davis, who's the main guy on Game Day, he said it was his favorite game day of last year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I think that's where Game Day is. I don't watch it much because I think it's super stale. but it's cool when they go to places like Cal.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's new. It's not just another SEC school that we've seen a million times.
Right.
And everyone was fired up for it. And then finishing half of your drink is anytime what I was just talking about, Rolo and Timmy Chang, the head coach of Hawaii, when they mentioned that they played on the same team.
They're going to say that at least once.
Yeah, that one, I think they'll mention it once, and then because Max Brown now knows about this, I think we're smoked, and he's going to mention it anytime.
And Max Brown's the color commentator that reposted Wet Beef's tweet.
He posted it on his Instagram story. So this is insider info, knows that what's going on. Ought to Go is a very good song. It's a rendition of Hot to Go by Chapel Roan that we made for Jaden Ott, who was our running back last year. And then finishing your drink, Rex Volcano is a longtime sicko in the Calgorithm. He was the original burner. So anytime they show one of his memes, we all have to finish our drinks. Mark Hamper is a receiver for us. I won't go too deep into why I put that one there.
Okay, and if he gets a touchdown, though?
If he scores a touchdown, we all have to finish our drink. And then Cade is our star middle linebacker. So anytime if he gets an offensive snap, he has never gotten an offensive snap, but he'd be a great fill-in for like a wildcat position.
Well, these are kind of your plus 2,000s, down there.
Exactly. Those are the big ones that we hope don't happen. But
right. I get it.
We're all drinking with our family tonight, and I think one of the running jokes is we're going to end a lot of happy marriages tonight because people are getting hammered on Christmas Eve because of this.
Hey, when doesn't that happen every year during the holidays? The stress levels just go skyrocket.
Got to be on your best behavior, and this is not a way to do that.
Right, not at all. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad we could get into that. That's a great idea. You really kind of tapped into a lot of different angles of the Cal versus Hawaii matchup for the big bowl game tonight. Is that 5 p.m. Pacific?
Yep.
Is the time kickoff time? Okay. No, that's great. And then the Calgorithm, that's just this kind of thing that's come into existence, right? I mean, what is the Calgorithm?
So Cal has always had like a very terminally online fan base. And like there's always been like warriors within the online community of like fighting that like Cal has fans has always been the one that we had to rebuke for many years, that were good. That one is also very hard to argue, but we find our ways to do it. And then about, I think it was 2023 or 2024, we beat Auburn, and someone in the Calgorithm community called Don Grizel, friend of the program, he posted a "you just lost to the woke agenda" meme, which is it went like mega viral, and that kind of like built up like this idea of like the Calgorithm. I can't remember the exact reporter who named it the Calgorithm, but it's just like the Cal algorithm put into one word.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a lot of terminally online, very sick and demented people who have a love for Cal football.
I love it.
Always talk about it.
Yeah, I love it. When I've kind of found it a little bit of it, I was a very, it made me feel better that there's other people out there that feel the same way I do, about my football team. No, so that's amazing. That's amazing. Do you want to push your you do like a weekly, what is it on X? On X, you want to push your thing on Spaces? What do you guys call it?
Yeah, we call it Mass. It's weekly Mass with my co-host Nam Lee. His Twitter handle is a guy named Nam. He's the man. He's awesome. He's been a long time Cal journalist. And yeah, we just linked up after the Auburn game when that meme was coincidentally posted. We went on Spaces the next day and talked about the game, and then it's grown into a weekly show. It's a lot of fun. We try to talk a lot of deep X's and O's that's what we like doing anyway. So we just figured do it live and see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, it's been great, and yeah, you guys get really deep into it, which I think is great for football fans. You guys, a great episode today with you all. It's a special day, Christmas Eve. We got the Cal versus Hawaii bowl game. I just want to thank you, Tony, at Wet Beefs on X, Cal Football Insider. Thanks so much for being with us, man. Great golfing with you yesterday. Good stuff, Andrew.
Cheers.
Appreciate both of you guys. Merry Christmas, everyone out there.
Yep. Hell yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for having me. This was a blast. We got to do it again sometime.
All right. Peace to all. Thanks.